Hi again, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV for continued coverage of the 2021 U.S. Open from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. My name is Aaron Smith with USBC Communications and Bowl TV, and I'm coming to you live from the Bowl TV studio in Arlington, Texas. So we're doing some cool things here, working remotely and covering this great event from the NBS. This is B Squad coming up next. So our competitors on A Squad have already completed their 8 games of the first round. B Squad's up next. C Squad coming up later today. That's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on Bowl TV. So continued coverage throughout the day, throughout qualifying, and throughout match play leading up to Sunday's televised finals on FS1. They'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern. So right now, the big story, Jacob Buttriff. Butters had himself quite a day. The 2019 Masters champion and 2-time runner-up here at the U.S. Open went plus 314 for his 8 games. So low game, 222. So we kind of suspected it after looking at the practice sessions yesterday that this 36-foot pattern would allow for some opportunities to get some numbers. Jacob certainly doing that. Led the squad by nearly almost 100, about 85 or so, ahead of Pontus Andersson from Sweden, who went 237 over. Bill O'Neill, past U.S. Open champion, plus 221. Mitch Hoope, plus 217. And then a bit of a drop to Matt Russo in 5th place on A Squad at plus 158. So we are going to go ahead and go to the lanes here. We'll meet up with the rest of the Bowl TV crew in a little bit. But we're going to take a look at the defending U.S. Open champion to start things off today as he prepares for his title defense and what he hopes is a long run into the round-robin match play and back to the stepladder finals. Jason Belmonte from Australia is going to kick things off today. So let's head out to the lanes and get rid of me. There we go. And Belmo is going to be joined by Michael Tang and Carlos Granados throughout the qualifying portion of the week.
Our players on B Squad. Scoreboards are up. You have 10 pins on the deck. Good luck and good scoring today.
All right, as we settle in here and check out the first shots from these competitors, we'll drop some links in the chat. Live scoring available at the National Bowling Stadium this week, so you can follow your favorite competitors. We have most of the pairs and play covered here, but there are a few extras. But the good thing with these smaller squads, just 36 players on each squad, they will spend plenty of time here on Bowl TV. We'll get quite a bit of airtime for all 108 players in the field this week as Belmo kicks off his tile defense. A good-looking strike right there. All right, we got all the information available there in the chat. Oil pattern, lane pairings, results, live scoring, all available also on bowl.com/US Open. Taking a look at the pairings, some notable players on this squad. And when you get to the US Open with the limited field, it's all pretty impressive players. Jesper Svensson, 10-time PBA Tour champion on the squad, was runner-up at the Masters last week in Reno. Danielle McEwen, PWBA Tour star. As well, Gary Faulkner Jr., who led qualifying at the Masters. Spencer Robarge, the young 18-year-old standout who made the show at the Masters, finishing in third place. Francois Lavoie, the two-time U.S. Open champion. A pretty good pairing for him. A.J. Johnson and Nathan Bohr all bowling together. Chris Vi and Tim Foy. Quite a week so far for Tim Foy, or 2 weeks, I should say, coming up on it. Chris Vi, fresh off a Masters appearance in the stepladder finals, and made the TV show last year at this event. Got Stu Williams, Osku Palermo, some young stars, Anthony Nair, Nick Pate, Sam Cooley, Packy, the Pac-Man, Packy Hanrahan. Just a small collection of the talented folks lacing them up here in B Squad. Saw quite a bit of urethane in the opening block. Not too much of a surprise. That's what we heard from some players as well after the practice session, trying to find ways to get right for the right-handers and stay left for the lefties. Once again, 36 feet in length to kick things off tomorrow for round 2. New pattern, 40 feet. That pattern will be essentially flat, 1-to-1. So we expect the scoring pace to take a dip tomorrow. Potentially a few more strikes on day 3, round 3 of qualifying, 44 feet. So 3 days, 3 different challenging patterns for these competitors. And then after that, our competitors will have 24 games in the books. The top 36 will advance to the Cashers round on Friday. They'll bowl 8 more games on a new pattern, which will be used the rest of the way out. So 4 patterns total. And after that Cashers round, top 24 will advance to round-robin match play. 24 games of that over 2 days will result in 56 games with pinfall totals and bonus pins from match play. 30 for a victory, 15 for a tie, 0 for a loss. Determining the top 5. For Sunday stepladder finals. See a comment from Joe in the Bowl TV chat about the Jillian Martin Big Four after Belmo's spare attempt here. We'll actually we'll play that right now. That's right, everybody. We got music and everything. So in case you missed it, well, it happened live here on Bull TV. Jillian Martin, Big Four conversion. Also converting the Big Four this week, Carlos Granados during the PTQ. So Carlos and Jillian both made out of the PTQ, both made Big Fours. We'll see what's next. With that, let's bring in one of the Bull TV members of the crew this week, Jason Thomas, live from the National Bowling Stadium. He looks ready to go. JT,
yes, I am ready to go. Was that song not the perfect song? Isn't it like when you do something good, isn't that the song that pops into your head?
It's been so long since I haven't heard one, but yes, it was. It caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for it. I was all of a sudden I'm like, "Where's this music coming from? What happened? What tab do I have open?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's with the video. Let's go."
Yes. So I just had a quick chat with Tim Mack, and he was actually going from one end of the house to the other and counting the number of reactive resin balls that were in play. And he said all the way through, he'd gotten through 46 from 29. So you know, it's had 17 lanes, 18 lanes. He said that there was only one person using reactive in that whole stretch of lanes.
Oh, wow. Who is that? Did he have the person or
Nathan Bohr?
Nathan Bohr. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Nathan was the one who skipped practice session yesterday, so or at least this one. We know he took that one off to recharge and reset and just use the time he had prior to the start of competition today on the warm-up pairs. But interesting. Nathan's got a nice little cross there too with AJ and Francois.
And even Francois, who's not a big proponent of urethane, is actually throwing it here right now.
Well, since Belmo's struggling a little bit, let's go ahead and make that change over. And since we got those guys on our, but remember, folks, this is the time. VIP special offer: $49.95. Get an annual subscription to Bull TV. Limited time offer. Ends Saturday. And we get to start with Nathan right here. Well, that looked pretty good, JT.
It did.
Nathan clean through 6, first double. When I opened the show, I mentioned that we saw quite a bit of urethane going down the lane to start. I didn't realize it was going to be that much. That's a high percentage. First of 3 8-game qualifying blocks for these competitors over the course of the next 3 days. AJ gets 3 of the 4. Got a second open here in the early going. Lavoie, the 2-time U.S. Open champion, 3-time major winner. JT, what's it say about a guy who has more than half of his wins in majors?
It says he's really, really good. Yeah, but no, he was focused on majors. I remember there was a commercial. I actually mentioned it when we did our open conversation with Jason before the tournaments here got underway. And he said it was a promo for one of the majors that was coming up. I think it was the PBA World Championship. And he said, my goal is to win all 4 majors. And this was before he'd even won his first major. And at the time there were only 4 majors. So now there's 5. He's won them all, except for this one, at least twice. And if he were to win this week, he would be the first bowler ever to win them all twice or more. And he said in the interview that his goal was to get to 20 career majors before he hangs them up. So that's just a daunting number in my mind. It's super hard to win these tournaments. They are the most difficult to win because they're the most difficult to compete in. And the fact that he has that many, I think certainly puts him in the conversation for greatest bowler of all time. We mentioned that on the show as well. I basically said, hey, most sports, it's up for debate who is the greatest of all time. And so since we're bowling, let's have a stepladder finals and put 5 people in the conversation. And so I said, you're in the stepladder finals. In my opinion, at this point in your career, if you were never to bowl again, you would be in that stepladder. Who would you have as your other 4? And he was very gracious, and he put himself 5th, which was I think he might be a little higher than that personally, but it's really a remarkable number, and I really would not be surprised to see him get to that 20. Interestingly enough, he did name some other all-time greats, and we could start a conversation in the chat. I think if people wanted to weigh in on this topic, I think it's a really interesting one. He actually put Walter Ray Williams as the top seed for the stepladder finals for the greatest of all time. He put Earl Anthony in the number 2 spot. Although he said he didn't have a lot of knowledge or information about Earl. He said he knows a lot of people, said a lot of nice things about him, but he didn't know Earl's game well enough to assess whether the 2 spot was the best for him or whether he deserved number 1. I think he put Walter there at number 1 because he got to see him compete and do some amazing things, even at kind of towards the end of Walter's career. But he put Mr. Duke on the show in number 3 and Pete Weber on there in number 4. And so that means the opening match would be Jason Belmonte versus Pete Weber, which would be a pretty cool match to watch. But I'm curious to know what the folks out in the chat think. I mean, where do you rank Mark Roth does Mark Roth get a spot on that list? He was the only guy other than Belmo and Walter Ray to win Player of the Year more than 4 times. He won it 4 in his career. And he might have had the greatest run in the history of the sport, from 1977 up until 1980, where he set all kinds of records for number of titles in a season and number of shows and cash percentage. Just an unbelievable run. Plus, if you factor in the impact that the player had on the game as one of your criteria, I don't think there's any way you can not include Mark Roth on that show. But who do you boot to put him on there? Would it be Pete Weber? Would it be Norm Duke? I don't know. It's a good question. Would it be Jason Belmonte? Jason Belmonte, if you're just going on stats, he doesn't have as many titles as Roth, but also he hasn't had a chance to bowl as many tournaments as Roth bowled, because there are fewer tournaments now than when Mark Roth was in his heyday. But Jason Belmonte, on the strength of his majors, and then if you factor in impact on the sport, I think he's the only one that may be in Mark Roth's league, and I think he's had an even bigger impact, especially if you go to Junior Golds and you've been there the last 10 years and just seeing the number of two-handers in the field now versus 10 years ago. Almost half the field is throwing the ball like Jason Belmonte. So he's had an enormous impact on the sport, in my opinion, for the better.
JT, as we wrap up game 1 here, Jennifer in the chat says, JT, sounds like you have a new video series to do, like the PWBA from over the summer there. So you may have just volunteered for a new project.
Yeah, I'm always volunteering for a new one. But yeah, mentioning that, if you hadn't had a chance to check out the documentary that we put together on the Kickoff Classic, that's a really good one. It just was a very meaningful event for everybody involved, the PWBA staff, BPAA, USBC, and for the players. So if you haven't had a chance to check out that documentary, I would encourage you to check it out and bring some tissue with you, because you might be dabbing your eyes all the way through.
224 for Nathan Bohr. This is actually going to be a relatively low-scoring pair compared to looking around the house. Some big numbers. Michael Davidson, 279 out of the gates. Ildemaro Ruiz, 249. Let's see. Christian Azcona is in the 230s. Gary Faulkner Jr. can get into the 230s. Bunch of 220s out there.
Yeah, Oscu had 259 and Brian Robinson 278 on the same pair.
Anthony Nair, 259.
Belmo threw the last 5, speaking of Belmo, to bail out 200. So that was a nice little finish for him.
All right, just like that. Game 1 in the books, folks. We move quick here with just 3 on a pair. Day 1 of qualifying at the 2021 U.S. Open. We appreciate all the folks joining us here on Bowl TV. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, great opportunity to pick up a year of Bowl TV for $49.95. Limited time offer. Seriously, it's like done this week. Saturday through Saturday. For the price returns to $79.95. So a great time to become part of the Bowl TV community. Save yourself $30 and get a full year. Get the full PWBA tour. That's 17 events right there. Starting up in just a couple of weeks, April 22nd through the 24th. In Eagan, Minnesota, the Twin Cities Open. And with the PWBA Tour, all stepladder finals as well. Going to be hosted on Bowl TV. So once again, that awkward part as we wait for the final pairs to finish up. Everyone kind of starts the next game at the same time. And looking around, all of our featured pairs currently do not have bowling, so they're all waiting on... Oh, I lied. We're waiting on Sam Cooley. Sam's way down on the high end of the house.
We begin game number 2.
It's going to be in the 2 teens. Nick Pate, 235. Brandon Biondo, 203. So after Sam picks up this 4-pin. Folks may start. JT's running around, changing the cameras up. Once again, a unique skipping procedure this week for athlete and staff safety this week, part of the procedures and protocols in place. So you can see usually we would have 2 pairs next to each other. That's what the camera view would look like. We'd have multiple lanes on each channel, but essentially the NBS staff goes in and cleans as part of the Nevada state regulation. So if after bowling on 45 and 46, that area has to be cleaned by the staff before anyone else can return there. So move just 1 lane. But the unique part about that for these competitors is essentially they're going back to a fresh pair. So definitely could be a little tricky. You finally start to see something open up on the lanes, and then you go to a new pair. It's back to fresh. Get some big games from the pairing currently on 50 or 63 and 64. So we're going to go ahead and head over that way. You folks take a good look at the U.S. Open schedule moving forward for the rest of the week while we do that. Check out Sunday with the pregame and postgame show as well around the FS1 telecast. So Asku Palermo, Sean Lavery-Spar, and Brian Robinson. Brian had 278, Asku a 259, and Sean a 222 out of the gates. Nice to see Brent Prentice in the chat. Hello, Brent. Certainly looking forward to heading to your center, Cedarville Lanes, for the Twin Cities Open in a couple weeks. And I'm sure the stars of the PWBA Tour anxiously counting down the days. JT, did we ever eat as well as we did for Twin Cities Open stops?
I don't think so. Maybe in Green Bay with the cheese curds, but it's a toss-up between those two for sure.
Well, good news for Brent is I've never been to Green Bay, so he's number 1 on my list. There you go. Plus the Packers playing Green Bay. Who'd want to go there? That's right. Shots fired.
Wow.
All day, every day. I don't care if the Bears are going to win 5 games this year. All day, every day. JT, a bunch of strikes from these guys that we're watching right now in 63 and 64. Brian Robinson, Sean Lavery-Spar, and Asku Palermo in game number 1. And not necessarily slowing down to start here in game 2. Now, Brian had a nice week making the bracket at the Masters. Won a match or two. Asku just missed the cut. Was 7 pins away from making the cut at the Masters for the bracket. Sean was a little bit farther back, 170th place. All right, score update coming after game number 1. We'll go ahead and drop that link in the Bowl TV chat. So most of the scores we talked about, I think we caught everybody as we were going through live scoring. Michael Davidson, 279 in the opener. Brian Robinson, who we're watching right now on 64, 278. Asku Palermo also on this pair, 259. Anthony Nair, 259. Waldemaro Ruiz, 249. Kristen Azcona, 236. Nick Payton, Gary Faulkner, 235. Spencer Robarge, 228. Brent Boho, 227. Jesper Svensson, 226. Nathan Bohr, 224. Carl Wahlgren, 223. Sean Lavery Spar, 222. And it just keeps going like that.
It certainly seems like the this squad got out of the gate a little quicker than A squad did.
I would agree. I mean, there were some bigger numbers, but it didn't seem like it was like there was still a little bit of a mix. There was still a handful of folks in the 180s, 190s, 2-0s, and there were a few games that were big. But yeah, it seemed like guns ablazing here. These guys are adding up the strikes. Anthony Nair on 67, 68. Still a chance at 276 this game. It's kind of the first big score to report. Francois Lavoie, after 199, is struck on 6 out of his first 7. Things may have slowed down just a touch here in game 2, but we'll let a few more frames develop. So Max scores here on 63 and 64 with just 2 frames left to go. Osku Palermo, 259. Sean Lavery Spar, 257. Brian Robinson, a couple opens after the front 4. He can get to 224 now, a little less for Osku, 237. After the 3-6. Leaving the 9th. JT, I kind of got pulled away toward the end of the block for A squad. We talked about the amount of urethane going down the lane right now. Were a lot of players still trying to stay in urethane as it got later in the block, or did we start to see the moves left and reactive come out of the bag?
Yeah, we did see it come out of the bag a little bit, but because the pattern's short, you can't really jump in too far left unless you want to shoot 200 under. So, yeah, Chris Prather made his run. He moved a little bit left and then switched to reactive and had a nice little 3-game set in games 5, 6, 7. But then the last pair he got to was hooking a little bit more, and he wasn't able to get any further left. So he actually switched back to urethane the last game and ended up shooting 165, I think. So the answer is yes. I think it feels like more of the players are using urethane on the squad, so that's going to help them stay out to the right longer, and it should build up a little bit of hold for the players as well. And consequently, you would think that the scores would end up being higher on this block. Spencer Robar's putting a nice start down on 43 and 44, the one pair that's not on our live stream. One more strike for him, and he'll shoot 243 this game, and he'll be plus 71 after 2. So continuing the great momentum from the Masters. Maybe do it with Jillian Martin and make 2 shows.
That would be something else, and that does speak to the power of momentum when you're bowling well and seeing things the right way and seeing, just seeing your ball do the right things and seeing strikes and just all of it kind of coming together. Spencer has had that, and so far here, obviously 6 games left to go still in this block. The young two-hander, 18-year-old Spencer Robarge, having himself quite a extended spring break.
Yeah.
Here in
I've
Reno.
never had a spring break this good. Jason Belmonte with 197 for game number 2, so he's -3 after 2 games. I noticed during practice yesterday on all of the patterns, he was really trying to see how far left he could get on all of the patterns. Obviously, that is his wheelhouse. That's his A game. So he's going to try to figure out if there's a way that he can do that. But, on this pattern, I just don't see it happening. I think he's going to have to stay to the right and try to figure out a way to score from out.
204 finish for Brian Robinson. He's going to be at plus 82. 223 for Askew. He too will be at plus 82. Sean with 257 still out there. That will get him to plus 79. So these guys working together well. Essentially, they are paired together throughout the course of the week. So if you're going to be stuck with a couple folks, might as well work together for the greater good. Trying to get back to some questions in the chat here. Rick, essentially for the pairings in match play, it's based off of, wherever you qualify through the 32 initial games. So if you're first, you're number one, you're second, you're number two, or you're assigned that number. And then from there, essentially everyone's randomly put into, each game, 2 bowls, 4, but you only do that once. So it just is essentially just randomly generated. I'm sure there's a program that Damon Scirocco and Rob Gottschall and all those good folks are working for that. But essentially you'll face everyone once. So it's just a matter of what day and what time. I'm sure there are more opportune times to face one person versus another, depending on the fresh and the and after a little breakdown. But essentially everyone's assigned a number, so all that's predetermined, but you earn your number based off of where you end up qualifying.
Next show we did.
Okay. Then that makes it feel better. You should not.
Players game 2 is complete. You may move to your game 3 player in the game.
Taking a look at some quick scores before they flush out here. Brenton Boho, 266. He's at plus 93. Chris Vide, 258. He's at plus 72 right now. 252 for Anthony Nyer. He's making the turn at 5'11". Caught these guys a little bit earlier today. Michael Tang, Carlos Granados, and defending champion Jason Belmonte. All the minus, however, at the moment. See, after that big game, let's watch Brent Boho for a little bit. Plus 93. He's got some guys who have struck a little bit so far. So I got Brent Boho, Christian Ascona, and Gary Faulkner Jr. So a few different styles here as well, attacking this 36-foot condition. For Faulkner, the top overall seed after qualifying at the Masters, but ended up losing his first match, so straight to the elimination bracket. But had an excellent week on a very demanding condition, so his first 2 games here at the U.S. Open, he's plus, but based off of the scoring pace we've seen, especially on the left side, he's going to hope for a couple more strikes here in the next 6 games. Brent, we talked about him a little bit earlier in the week. Past junior Team USA member back in 2018. After very impressive performance at the Team USA trials and U.S. Amateur Championships. At the beginning of 2018. Collegiate standout at St. Ambrose University. Now trying his hand at the tour. Well, technically 2 hands. Ascona recently made his PBA TV debut. I believe that was during the regional shows for the Players' Championships. Does have a PBA Tour title. Winning the Extra Frame Wilmington Open. Back in 2018, defeated A.J. Johnson 217 to 214 to claim that title. Let's get a big thanks to everyone for joining us here today on Bold TV. This is game 3 of 8 for B Squad competitors during round 1 of qualifying at the 2021 US Open, the 5th and final major on the PBA Tour schedule here in 2021. Just last Sunday, we saw Thomas Larson capture the victory at the USBC Masters.
I noticed that we had something brewing on the live stream here, and I wanted to switch over to it. Chris Vi with front 7.
How about that? That guy just finds the way to bowl well in majors, doesn't he, JT?
He sure does. Sure does. Made another major show at the Masters. He was your pick on the TV show. And you know, it's interesting. I talked to Chris after the show, and basically what we had said about him was he had it in his mind that was how it was going to play out. He basically said, if I could just get past Spencer that first match, I think I would have won. And I tend to agree with him. I mean, he was pretty close. He had a couple bad breaks in that match against Spencer. And then, you know, Spencer did what Spencer's been doing, you know, all week and put him away. But, you know, it was awfully close to being his first major title. And he said, you know, I just got to keep knocking on the door, and eventually, you know, I'm going to get there. And couldn't agree with him more.
Let's take a look as he goes for number 8. Full screen. Business is good. Those other major winners so far this season: Kyle Troop at the Players' Championship, Francois Lavoie at the Tournament Champions, Tom Doherty at the World Championships. Also have Tim Foy Jr. and Garrett Andrus on that pair.
We'll switch right back. Just going to make some adjustments to our audio, and then we'll switch back to Chris Vai. There we go. Had a nice chat with Tim Foy after the Masters, and you know, we had talked about on the air, you know, what that opening match win against Jason Belmonte was going to do for his confidence, and you know, he agreed. He agreed with the fact that, you know, we had said we think that's going to go a long way towards, you know, improving his confidence and getting him to that next level, which he really seems like he's on the verge of right now. You know, with his recent appearance in the Players' Championship finals, he's been bowling great lately. He had a fantastic Masters, and he dominated the PTQ here at the U.S. Open. So I know he even ended up on one of our teams in our draft last night.
That was the fan choice for Chad's final pick.
Yeah. So not only is he building his confidence, he's building his fan base. And throwing a double to Jason Belmonte in the elimination bracket, that'll win you a few fans for sure.
Vi wraps the 10 there in frame number 9, so we will continue to wait for our first 300 game at the U.S. Open. But we do have scores. Scores are here through 2.
Check. Got a copy?
Hello, Michael. Loud and clear.
Oh, well, I just wanted to come by the booth for a minute. I'm back there editing the vlog, working on a few things, grabbing some more content. And if you've been watching our coverage for the last however many days it is, 250 days consecutively that we've been covering bowling here, you know that I've been getting this black cloud. A lot of people around here looking at me, calling me the cloud, all those sorts of things. And the other night I decided I was going to celebrate every time I got somebody. And I got Tim Foy twice the other night, back-to-back games, as a matter of fact. Celebrated. We had a nice moment here on Bowl TV. It's archived if you want to go watch it. The PTQ. So Mr. Foy happens to be paired up here with Mr. Vi. And I'm back there watching live scoring like everybody else. So I came on out, grabbed my camera. Went down there in the 9th frame, and I got another W, boys. Got another W. And Foy saw me coming. Actually walked up onto the carpeted area, which I don't recommend for competitors to do because there's static electricity and it could affect your slide later. But he just had to come up and talk to me since I got him twice Sunday night. And guess what? I got Chris Vi right there. So I know his mom's probably baking cookies right now for everybody. And I apologize, Mr. and Mrs. Vi, for causing your child to go up and leave a 10 pin in the ninth frame. But that's another W for me, and I just wanted to come up and celebrate in the booth with you guys.
No cookies for you, Mike.
No cookies for me.
It's the U.S. Open. You have to celebrate any wins you can get. So I'm 100% on this energy.
And I guess since I'm here, I should ask you guys: are we seeing higher scores this set? Is that the theme?
Well, Michael, we do have a score update.
What was the question?
Are the scores higher?
Yeah, it seems like they are. Yes.
Specifically on the high side so far, Anthony Nyer plus 111 leading the way on B squad. Brent Boho plus 93, Asku Palermo plus 82, Brian Robinson plus 82, Sean Lavery Spar plus 76. Those three guys all in the same pair. Chris Vi was at plus 72. He's going to double that and then some potentially here. Spencer at plus 67. Michael Davidson actually went the other way after a 279 start, plus 54. So folks are getting their pins knowing they're not going to be there tomorrow.
I'm happy to see Danielle McEwen bowling fairly well because the PWBA Kickoff Classic was really rough for Danielle. The Masters was really rough for Danielle. So it's nice to see her get out to 44 or 42 over now. So I'm happy to see that. All right, gentlemen, I shall return sooner than later. I miss you guys a lot, but I'm back there just working. So, any questions for me? You guys need anything from me?
Well, you got me 2 Jack in the Box tacos. I don't know what else somebody can do for another human being than that.
Well, you're welcome.
Hey, at least he got you something. I haven't gotten anything over here.
Oh.
Nothing from Michael.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to write HR and get some addresses for both Matthew and Aaron because Matt sends me stuff, Aaron doesn't.
Just love and affection. That's all.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's a lot coming from you. All right, game number 4 coming up, I guess. Wow, it's going fast.
Thanks, Mike. .278 pushes Vi to plus 150. Tim Foy gets to the right side of plus. So that's what we're looking at here, folks.
It's a nice little start there, 750 right out of the gate.
It's got to loosen the arm swing a little bit after all those games on that condition from the Masters.
Well, we know Chris Vi can strike. That was really how he got through the Masters bracket as far as he did. He would, at some point in the match, find something he liked and run off, 11 or 12 out of 13. He's got a lot of firepower.
Again, wrapping up game 3. 237 for Ascona, gets him to plus 78. Rough game there for Gary Faulkner Jr. He's now at -7. Brent Boho, 248 there. He's at plus 141, so keeping pace with Vi.
That's a huge hit.
All right, once again, just waiting for the okay from our tournament team to continue on to game 4. Taking a quick look across the spectrum. Anthony Nyer at 748 for his first 3, so plus 148.
Yeah, I've got it wrote
Michael Davidson at plus 92. Nice bounce back game for
I
him.
wasn't prepared. I didn't do it this morning, so I had to do it just now.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
We mentioned Brent Boho at plus 141. Spencer at plus 126. We'll take a look at him as he joins Jake Rollins and Carl Waldron here in game 4. Looks like Vi leading the squad at the moment at plus 150. Our defending champion, Jason Belmonte, minus 23.
right, folks, going to get a chance to watch Spencer Robarge here in game number 4. What a performance he had at the Masters just last week. Came within a whisker of becoming the youngest ever to win that prestigious tournament. It's a record that Anthony Simonson holds, who won at the age of 19. Simonson not bowling here this week at the U.S. Open. He withdrew from the event, as did a few other notable players, Wes Malott and Dom Barrett, a couple of former U.S. Open champions not taking part in the event here this week. But full 108 player field, giving it their best on a day where we've seen a lot more high scores than we normally see at the U.S. Open. Certainly not easy by any stretch. Still a very demanding condition, but players are taking advantage of the conditions here this morning on this 36-foot oil pattern. Spencer with the big messenger on the 7. Take that. Spencer is cruising along here, plus 126 for his first 3 games. So averaging over 240 early here at the U.S. Open. And I know Aaron Smith has mentioned it a few times, but if you haven't had a chance to check out our super promo here on Bowl TV, we are offering a special annual subscription for the price of $49.95 plus transaction fees. That is the best price we've ever offered. We offered it at the end of 2020. But normal price is $79.95. So if you're enjoying what you're watching and you're interested in watching the upcoming PWBA Tour, which gets underway April 22nd, collegiate events, Junior Gold, the new Bowlers Journal Team Championship Series, which is similar to the old World Team Challenge events from back in the day. Those will get started this fall, in addition to a number of other great content. Check it out. $49.95. The offer's good from now until the end of the U.S. Open, so be sure to take advantage. After that, it's going to go back up to $79.95. I'm kind of a math nerd, so I broke down what the cost of the subscription would be by event, and if you break it down by broadcast, which like for example, this U.S. Open, we're doing 3 broadcasts today, 3 tomorrow, 3 the next day, 2 the next day. So per broadcast, it works out to less than 7 cents a broadcast. So if you had an annual subscription, watching this broadcast today would have cost you 7 cents. So it's the best deal you'll ever get on a Bowl TV subscription, so I encourage you to check it out. Spencer Robarge getting ready. Try to throw 3 in a row here in game number 4. He's gotten out of the gates quickly. Well, that one jumps high. So 247 for Spencer. Spencer crossing with Jake Rollins and Carl Walgren. This guy's doing pretty well. After 3 games, Jake is plus 34, Carl plus 8. Right back in the pocket there for Spencer. Great shot. As we mentioned, this event is in its 77th edition. Got underway back in 1941, and John Crimmins was the first champion of the event. The event was held in Chicago all the way up until 1958. In 1971, it became the U.S. Open. Before that, it was the BPAA All-Star. Both Dick Weber and Don Carter had a lot of success in this event. Each man won it 4 times. Dick Weber actually won 4 out of 5. He won in 1962, 1963, skipped a year, then came back in 1965, won it again in 1966. So arguably the greatest run in the history of the event. Reminiscent to what Jason Belmonte was able to do in the Masters just recently, winning 4 out of 5 years. But eventually his son Pete would go on to eclipse his record. Pete Weber, a 5-time champion of this event. Nobody's won it more than him. Pete won it in 1988, 1991, 2004, 2007, and who could forget the one in 2012, the "Who do you think you are? I am" moment. But he had another memorable moment too. In fact, I was just texting with PBA Commissioner Tom Clark about this one today. We were talking about traditions in this event, and I suggested that if we really wanted to start a tradition, after Pete Weber's 1991 victory, where the eagle toppled from the top of the trophy, fell down on the ground and shattered into a million pieces, I suggested, hey, why didn't we just have everybody, after they won the U.S. Open, take the trophy and slam it onto the ground and shatter it into a million pieces? You'd have, a combination of, punk rock, band, Greek wedding, and a tribute to PDW every time, every U.S. Open. I thought that would be a cool tradition, but I'm not going to suggest that to the winner this year. Besides, I don't think the trophy would break. I think it's made of metal. And it's a big, heavy Beautiful. Eagle trophy with a black base. Winner also will take home the green jacket. Robarge with another strike there in the 8th. I'll be back in just a second. Just going to go check on one of our camera feeds. I'll be back momentarily with more commentary from the 2021 US Open. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here on Bull TV. Thanks for tuning in here at the 2021 US Open here on Bull TV. I'm Jason Thomas, back with more coverage. We'll be joined shortly by Aaron Smith once again. Got a question in the chat, James Martin. Is it a one-time discount or will it continue to be the promo price after year one? That's a great question. The answer is it would renew at whatever the price is at the time. Regular price is $79.95 plus transaction fees. But there are promos that go on throughout the year. I'm not saying we're ever going to do this price again, but this deal's good for the end of the U.S. Open. So if you want to get your next year's worth of Bull TV for $49.95, this is the week to do it. So many great moments in this tournament. So many great memories. We mentioned Pete Weber's 2012 victory. Who do you think you are? I am against Mike Fagan in that match.
Who do you think you are, JT?
Not Pete Weber, that's for sure. Not Pete. But man, I was there in person for that one. That was something else to behold. I mean, Pete needed one strike in 2 shots, and the first shot he just labeled it, left a ringing 10, went up, spared it, needed the second strike to win by a pin. And I'll never forget the call by Gary Thorne. Do you remember the call, Aaron Smith?
A strike to claim it.
A strike
to claim it.
I'll tell you, for years after that, we would just kind of randomly blurt out a strike to claim it. We'd just be walking along on the street, and you'd say a strike to claim it. I mean, we probably looked insane to people walking up to us on the street, but in fact, the CEO of the PBA at the time told us that if he ever heard us say it again, that we would have to throw $5 in a jar every time we said it. But man, that was a great call and a great moment.
Talk about a random commentator for a major bowling event. Gary Thorne out of left field. Had he done any other shows, or was that like the only one that he had done for bowling?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you a little story behind that. So we were toying around with some different announcers. We kind of wanted to elevate the stature of the announcer, and so Gary Thorne had done some bowling before, but he was more known for hockey. He's an iconic hockey announcer, and so we brought him in to do the event. He from what I understand, he was very expensive, and he was very I don't want to characterize him as a bad guy. He wasn't, but he it's almost like he showed up, he didn't talk to anybody, he did the show, did a fantastic job, and then left and didn't say anything to anybody. And I don't know if it was just because he was busy or in a hurry, or he's shy. You never know about these things. And so we all thought he did a fantastic job. And then I wasn't involved in any of the decisions to hire him back, but I asked, hey, are we going to bring Gary Thorne back to do another show? And I was like, no, he's not going to be doing any more. And I don't know if it was because he wanted more money, or if I just don't know. But if you had to list and rank the most iconic calls in the history of the sport, Gary Thorne, who only did a very small number of shows, that might have been, it might have been less than 3. He's got one of the great calls in the history of the sport. Now that I mention it, what are some of the calls you remember, Aaron Smith?
It's a great question. Carl Walgren finishes up with 244. Spencer opening the 10th. He's going to get to 208, but left a few pins out there. He's at plus 134. Jake Rollins plus 44. Great calls.
I'd have to go with Rob Stone's call when Belmo won his record-breaking major, and he said, "He is the greatest." I thought that was a fantastic call. When Pete McCordick bowled 300, it had been 11 years since 16 years since the last 300 on ABC television, and Pete McCordick got the final strike, and Chris Schenkel said, "We have it!" And it was just this release of. It was amazing because Pete McCordick was relieved because he was shaking like a leaf on that 10th frame, and it was a huge amount of money, but it broke this long drought on television of 16 years between 300 games. So it was like this big release of everything. And then I'll never forget Bo Burton's call of Bob Benoit's 300 game, and it wasn't the final shot, but he set up the moment so well, and he said, Bob Benoit's kind of a small little guy, and he went out on tour and didn't have a lot of power, and really got his butt handed to him, when he went out for the first time. Came back, worked on his game, built up his power game a little bit, and Bo Burton called that so well. And before his 11th strike, he said, this guy's probably been whipped around a schoolyard a few times when he was a kid, but you put a bowling ball in his hand and he's Superman. He's got 10 in a row. And it was just for me, 15-year-old me at the time, it was exactly what I needed to hear, because I felt a lot of those things. I felt, like I was an outsider, but bowling, was my outlet. We did an interview with Jacob Buttriff a couple years ago right here at this US Open, and he kind of said the same thing. And so that call I will always remember.
I'd have to say that, the one that really always sticks out is that is that U.S. Open in 2012. The Gary Thorne call is it's probably one of the few. JT, you've exhibited this week. I feel your memory is much stronger than mine when it comes to these bowling-related moments. Remembering what bowling ball you were throwing at in a particular tournament in 1993, and the specifics of these calls, and I just don't have that. I can get close, but it's like I get the general idea, and then it's like I missed a word or two in there. But strike to claimant is as almost as legendary as it gets in the bowling world, from, ironically enough, a non-bowling guy. So
Yeah, no.
tip of the hat to Gary Thorne.
That's why he was so expensive, man. You get what you pay
I
for,
guess
right?
so.
I'm going to go switch some cameras. I'll be back with Aaron Smith here in a minute. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here on Bowl TV.
On 49 and 50.
JT gets those cameras switched, and game 4 comes to a close. Just some quick updates on scores after 3. Chris Vi with that 278 had moved to the top spot in B squad, plus 150. Anthony Nyer plus 148. Brenton Boho plus 141, and Spencer Robars plus 126. Obviously, those scores going to change up a little bit here in just a moment or two.
Probably can't really take that pair out. The drops they have. So you have almost can't do that.
You still there, Aaron Smith?
I'm still here.
Yeah, I forgot one call, one of my favorites, and I probably don't remember it as much because I was actually the TV coordinator while it happened. Does that give you a hint as to what I'm talking about?
You were the TV coordinator.
Yeah, I was the red hat.
The red hat. You were the red hat for a lot of shows, though, JT.
I was. So I was the red hat for this one, and it was Francois Lavoie's 300 game. And
Dave Ryan going nuts. Yes, that was a good one.
Dave Ryan went nuts, but what I loved about that call was, do you remember what Marshall Holman said right before Lavoie threw the ball?
For a piece of history, young man.
Yes, and then Dave for 300. You better believe it, he did it. That was so awesome. Such a great call. And it was great because those guys worked together on setting it up and then calling it.
The low key great moment of Francois 300. Go lay it on you here right now, JT, and I know it's funny because I hear the echo delay in the background. I just heard you say it again, so that's fantastic. But after that happened, Damon Sirocco, who is there this week, as crazy as the guys went on TV, Damon was just going absolutely nuts, and it was fantastic. Because if you know Damon's usually, he's all about his business. He takes care of business. So that was just so crazy. It was so big. I wasn't prepared for that. And all of a sudden he's got the microphone screaming and yelling. It was so awesome.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a lull here in the action. We got to show the clip. Aaron Smith, what do you think?
If you got it, JT.
Let's do it. I'm gonna share it over there now.
Okay.
We'll be back into the lanes in just a couple of moments.
Here we go.
Be on the cusp of shooting a 300
U.S. Open history, folks.
And assured of going into the finals. Good chance of the U.S. Open Championship.
Can we get a little more volume there, JT?
Yeah.
Gotta hurry.
10. Yes! It did hurry Marshall Holman. Two more to go.
We'll take a look at this ball. This is a little bit right off his hand, but it's got the right speed. It picks up the roll and tickles him over. Goodbye, Nerf. Goodbye, Bucket.
Andy Bowler rules the 300 game on tonight's telecast. Receives a $10,000 bonus courtesy of Pepsi, the official soft drink of bowling. 2 away from that.
I was going to say he's finishing on the tougher of the 2 lanes, but it doesn't look like he has a tougher of the 2 lanes. 11.
11 straight. What do you say? Merci bien. Monsieur Lavoie. This is fun to watch.
Listen for Damon after this, guys. Listen for Damon.
Now is here. Certainly is our BPA moment of the match. The 11th for Francois. Down. It's number 12. Can he do it? 1 more.
I say yes. I absolutely say yes. For a piece of history, young man.
$10,000 bonus. You better believe it, he did it. A perfect 300 game for Francois Lavoie. Stay magnifique.
Say magnifique. I'll tell you right now, if I'm Marshall Kent, I am thrilled that Lavoie shot 300 because that has to take some energy out of him. It just has to.
Perfect.
Listen, Damon is just going nuts.
Ever 300 game.
He just went woohoo!
History made tonight for Francois Lavoie of Quebec City.
He's still going.
That went on much longer than I recall. Now that
Final shot.
Now that I listened to it again.
Locked into the 1-3 pocket the entire match. And in a moment, my Hall of Fame partner, Marshall Holman, laying level
And
on
then
top.
there's Francois,
For the
just
happy
cool as
winner
a
who's
cucumber.
$10,000.
Like, did anything even happen? All right. Good stuff. Good trip down memory lane there, JT.
And this pattern that we're bowling on after day 3, it's not the one we're bowling on right now. Although Tim Mack came by and said, "You better get all your pins now, guys. They ain't gonna be this easy tomorrow." but this pattern that we're gonna bowl on for from day 4 through the rest of the tournament and the TV show, that's the pattern that Lavoie bowled 300 on. So maybe another 300 in the works later this week from the National Bowling Stadium. We haven't had one yet today, but we've had a lot of high scores. Another player who's really bombing him out of the gates today, Anthony Nyer, plus 148 for his first 3.
Anthony's been pretty solid. Michael Davidson, who we're watching right now, plus 171. Another young player who made his first show at one of the regionals for the Players Championship. Won a couple matches, too. I believe he ran into Kyle Troop, the eventual winner. A collegiate standout at Calumet College.
Where's Calumet going in the sectionals, Aaron?
Well, they were the top-ranked team in the nation this year, third time in program history, so they are heading to Addison, Illinois for sectionals next weekend.
Our first look today, I believe, at Danielle McEwen.
Mm-hmm.
Danielle, one of the best at playing that outside line.
Going to be a real nice tune-up for her and Maria heading into the Twin Cities Open in just a couple of weeks. It's less than 3 weeks, JT. Did you know that? How has this happened?
You know, I'm trying to forget everything outside of this thing called the US Open right now. Trying to block out all other thoughts other than what's going on here. But yes, I am aware that that's coming up rather quickly. And I'm excited about it.
April 22nd to the 24th kicks off the second swing of the 2021 season. 20 events total, 17 left to go. Winners from the Kickoff Classic Series include Shannon O'Keefe, Brianna Cote, and Julia Bond. Tennille chimed in the chat 16 days specifically, so keeping tabs, Tennille. I like it.
I guess I better put my travel request in, huh, Aaron?
Yes. Question about Jason Belmonte's pairing. For Game 5 here, they're actually off the featured pairs on 37 and 38. They'll be back on 43 and 44. Oh, excuse me. That's the one we don't have. So Game 7, Belmonte, Michael Tang, and Carlos Granados will be back on 65 and 66. So they'll be on this pair in Game 7. I always forget about the 43 and 44 situation this week.
Yeah, I suggested to Mike Flanagan earlier in the week when we were doing the Masters to switch over to that pair because somebody had the front 6 or 7, and so he was This was, of course, the day that he took over.
Hey, JT, I think you muted yourself there.
Oh, man. Now I got to tell it over. So, 43 and 44 we haven't had all week, and last week during the Masters, of course, this was the day that Flanagan was taking over for Aaron Smith for the day because Aaron Smith had other sectionless assignment shows he was working on. So he was still kind of figuring out how to use the StreamYard. And I pointed to 43 and 44 because someone had the front 6 or 7. So let's switch over to that pair. And so Mike gets this look on his face like, what the heck? I can't figure out how to keep this pair up. What's going on? And then I realized that Mike's sorry we don't have that. Poor Mike.
All right, folks. We'll bring back JT in a minute. Not sure what spiked with the audio there. Good question from Orlando in the Bowl TV chat about our giveaway today. So, giving away a teledrone to one lucky viewer on bowltv.com. We have not yet, so you haven't missed it. But I think we should knock it out this block. How you folks feel about that giveaway this round? In the next game or two? All right, sounds like a resounding yes from the Bowl TV chat, so we will get that going in just a little bit here. Another good question about how do you enter? It's very simple. We'll give you a prompt before it's time. You'll just want to wait for that. You'll see a call to action, essentially, a little box pop up in the bottom left-hand corner of the video screen. It'll have a countdown, and then you'll see another prompt that will say the giveaway has begun. And with that, a submit entry button will be available to click, and that's all you have to do is just click that button when the time is right. And you'll be entered to win. No additional steps. Question from Kim about fantasy team. I think it's going all right so far. Marshall Ken, nice day, plus 107. We should have 61 through 64 back up, folks. Chris Vi was leading this squad after 3 games. We just got an update as well. Chris is down second. Brent Boho leading the way, having a monster block. Plus 193 at the moment. Chris Vi second, plus 174. Once again, this is just on B squad. Michael Davidson, plus 171. Anthony Nyer, plus 158. Spencer Robarge, plus 134. Sean Lavery Spar, plus 123. Christian Ascona, plus 100. Zach Tech at plus 95. Jesper Svensson, plus 84. Brian Robinson, plus 82. Asku Palermo, plus 71. Drops a little bit. Carl Walgren, plus 52. Jake Rollins, plus 44. Pecky Hanrahan, plus 38. And the good news for our team, Kim, is Sam Cooley beginning to heat up. Chance to shoot 265 this game. Sam was a little bit farther back in the standings. Minus 18 to start this game. But business picking up here. I think the rest of the team is bowling the late squad. All right, we're going to bring JT back in here. So we get to the 10th frame. Michael Davidson putting together a nice effort here. Danielle's going to be in the 220s.
Yeah, I just had a little visit from the Gremlins. One camera went down. I think people sometimes enjoy hearing, why some of this stuff happens. But so 61 through 64 went down. There was a big question mark on the screen, which is what happens when the computer can't see the camera. And someone apparently was touching something up on the top of the countertop where we have all the gear and unplugged the USB port from the computer. So that's the issue there. The funniest story on that I have for you, Aaron Smith, is we were at the World Series of Bowling one year, and I had a camera that kept going out on, it was a match that we were trying to cover. This was prior to the days where you could watch whatever you wanted. And, you had probably 4 or 5 pairs that you could bounce around to. And so the one that was the furthest away from us, the camera kept going out. And so I went over and I noticed that the camera was unplugged and there was a phone charger plugged into the place where we had the camera. So I unplugged the phone, plugged the camera back in. About 5 minutes later, the camera goes back out again. I go down, the phone's plugged back into the same spot and the camera's unplugged. Nobody's sitting there though. So I unplug it again, plug my camera back in, go back up. And this happens, for the 3rd time. So I go down there and there's a gentleman sitting down there and I say, hey, we're doing a live broadcast. I can't have you unplugging my camera. We're going off the air. And he said, oh, I didn't do that. And I said, well, is that your phone? He said, yeah. And I said, well, I don't know who's plugging your phone in, sir, but whoever it is, tell them, please, I need this outlet for my camera because we're doing a live broadcast. Okay, fine. So end of the it doesn't happen the rest of the broadcast. After the broadcast is over, I go and Tom Clark, I run into him on the concourse, and he has this gentleman with me, and he says, hey, Jason, I want you to meet Don Carter's son. This is Don Carter's son. And guess who it was? It was the guy who'd been unplugging my camera and putting his phone in the port. So 4-time All-Star champion Don Carter's son took us off the air. But he apologized, and he ended up being a super nice guy, and we ended up becoming friends. But I just thought that was a funny story about technical issues on our live stream broadcasts.
Oh, the things we have seen, JT.
That's not the way you want to meet Don Carter's son.
I don't think that's the way you want to meet anybody. I think I would have kept the phone after the 3rd time, waiting for someone to come back for it. Get to the bottom of this situation.
Battery life on your phone is important. I'm not sure it's as important as taking a live stream broadcast off the air. Especially not the U.S. Open, baby.
Never the U.S. Open. Michael Davidson, 234. He's now to plus 205. Daniel McCune up to plus 47 after 224. And Michael Mirbile also in the plus 40s, plus 41. So we get ready for game 6. Cruising along here. Once again, one more block today from the U.S. Open, day 1 of qualifying. C Squad hits the lanes. (9 p.m. Eastern. That'll be our schedule for the next 2 days as well until we get down to our top 32 players. I believe we'll be starting a little bit later in the day each day. But the action will be picking up. Looks like we're just about all wrapped up here. Take a quick look at live scoring. See who the movers and shakers are in game 5. 235 for Carl Walgren. He gets up to plus 87. 246 for Francois Lavoie, but an open in the 10th. Could have been more. He's at plus 52. Chris Vi up to 188 over. 231 for Belmo to get to plus 30. Brian Robinson at plus 92. Sean Lavery Spar on the move, plus 147. Zach Tackett plus 115, but oh, wow. He had 7 out of the first 8, and then a split in the 9th and gutter 6 in the 10th for 220. Sam Cooley, mentioned him, 240 that game. He's now at plus 22. Anthony Nair Just shot 279, a split in the 10th for him. He's at plus 202. Shot 244 that game. Jesper Svensson at plus 110. Christian Ascona at plus 157. Brent Boho now at plus 196. So it looks like Davidson moves up, but Chris Vi. Oh, nope, I lied. He was at 188. Looks like Michael Davidson. There we go. Moves back into the lead. Anthony Nyer just behind him. Brent Boho, and then Chris Vi. So watch Anthony Nyer a little bit this game. He's over on 55. So as we get ready for that, folks, just a reminder about our super promo available this week only. Deal ends Saturday. VIP special offer of $49.95 for an annual subscription to Bolt TV. So on this pair, Jesse Gibson, TJ Rock, and Anthony Nyer. Nyer plus 202. Let's see how the young left-hander is getting it done here. Another player who's been near the top of the leaderboard throughout the block. TJ Rock, a member of Junior Team USA. It's a part of the Wichita State University bowling program. All right, as we watch Anthony here in game number 6, once again having a real nice day at plus 202, we're going to welcome in Matt Cannizzaro to the broadcast, someone who's gotten to know Anthony pretty well over the years through the Junior Team USA program. So welcoming in Matt to the show for the first time. Just a second here. There he is, Matt Cannizzaro, everybody.
Hi, Aaron Smith.
Matt, it's great to see you. Tell us a little bit about Anthony these days. We've seen him. Obviously, he's been a great competitor at the Junior Gold Championships over the years, winning 2 titles over there, nearly another one in 2017. So much success on Junior Team USA, and now he's kind of making some different steps with his game. Tell us a little bit about what's new for Anthony coming into this event.
Well, he had started at one point going to McKendree University. He was going to follow that path and then went a different route, decided to join the PBA, and already has picked up a PBA regional title, which he had done previously as a non-member. And last we saw him at the US Open in 2020. Just kind of getting everything together, trying to figure out the path. Of course, his father, Andy, has a PBA Tour title as well. Family business in a bowling center in Pennsylvania. So it's certainly in the genetics for him to be as talented as he is. His sister Alexis, also a great player. And so the natural progression for Mr. Nyer looks like it's going to be to try to match Andy in the win column on the PBA Tour. We actually haven't caught up in a minute just because of 2020 and all of the Junior Team USA and Team USA events being canceled. And so I was hoping to see these guys, many of them out here in Reno. I know they're looking forward to the Open Championships as well, and kind of getting on to the adult ranks and some different possibilities with the new Junior Gold division and all kinds of crazy things happening for these youngsters. But as you said, multiple titles at Junior Gold for Anthony. So the opportunity for us to watch them grow up. We saw the same thing with Anthony Simonson. We knew him when he was just a youngin', going on TV in New York on the morning shows and doing the rounds back when he was 12 years old. And, the same for Anthony and Spencer and Solomon. So all these young talents just progressing through the ranks, and looking forward to seeing what they have in store for us next.
I think it's safe to
Matt, are you regretting that you didn't put Anthony Nyer on your team last night?
You know what? He again with the theme that I had, the Team USA route and the left-handers. Yeah, he was in the conversation, or at least in the one in my head. I pulled for him. We talked about him in the Masters practice sessions and what we were hoping for. And based on that performance, I thought maybe he's not sharp at this moment, or just had a bad week. But I was under the gun, so I handled the pressure. I put out the names that came right to my tip of tongue, and that was that. But we mentioned Uncle Perry being my close number 7. I would say Anthony Nyer was up there in the next couple as well.
Anthony Nyer, one of the more impressive Junior Gold victories I can remember. Took home the U20 title at the age of 16 and threw the front 9 on television.
That was a big emotional win for Anthony, a tribute to his mom, and had a sister there as well. So very cool to look back at those photos and the videos celebrating that. Just an awesome day. And I did not know him at that point. I already knew Andy because of his success at the Senior Masters. But to get a chance to get to know Anthony and the rest of the crew, traveling, we went to Paris for the World Junior Championships. Him and Solomon, and then Cameron Peters and Mabel Cummins, and had a great time out there. Great bowling, great success. And then they got to go to the PABCON youth event in Dominican Republic as well. So another week. He likes to call me his stepdad out there on the road, because I guess that's my role now. When the coaches are busy having their meetings, and if Katie's off taking the girls to the supermarket or whatever, sometimes I get the chaperone role. And those guys, if they want to go grab some ice cream or whatever at the supermarket, well, once the news release is done, that's all part of the job too. So making sure they look both ways before they cross the street and safely get there and back.
TJ Rock, another solid young player, Junior Team USA.
Another player we've seen through the ranks at Junior Gold over the years, and I think it's just phenomenal the way that event has grown and given kids opportunities to compete and kind of get their foot in the door for an event like this down the road. Anthony was the winner of the inaugural U12 back in 2014, and I remember talking to him afterwards, and it was one of those things where it was like he was very, very nonchalant about all of it, and he's happy he won, but it wasn't like wasn't going too crazy during the interview, and it's interesting to talk to kids when they're that young and kind of understand that. And then Matt, you mentioned a couple years later how emotional that victory was for him. And that just talks a lot about the growth of the players over the years, and also the understanding what these victories mean along the way, and appreciating those moments. But Matt, I'd like you to talk a little bit about being our resident port sider here. Anthony is the definition of the power game, I would say, on the left side. Really winds up here, gets set, plants, and delivers the fury, as we're going to take a look right here. And then just gives it the absolute business at the bottom of the swing. And he says, yeah, right there, that one. Tell us a little bit about, the strengths of his games and potentially, some of the things he tries to work on from what you've seen in the Junior Team USA events.
Well, for starters, just watching his game a little bit, it reminds me of Jason Couch, who we had on the Inside the OC podcast not too long ago, the high backswing and just being heavy-handed. I mean, Anthony's a big dude, like with giant man hands, and he can get a handful for sure, and tends to gravitate towards the urethane for that reason, right? The high rev player, and can just get all over it, as you said. So, he can play the big wheel when necessary, but I've also seen him get left and just get a little bit softer with it too. So very versatile. But I think being able to get right and open up the lane definitely would be his A game. And then that's where the urethane would come into play now. Imagine these youngsters, 16, 18 years old, they now are getting close to not even knowing a time where urethane didn't exist, right? Whereas for our generation, it was already gone, and by the time we were old and retired, it was just coming back. So just a weird dynamic, but the success, and as you can see a little bit farther left, and able to square up too. So that versatility, and his dad also left-handed, so. Some great mentorship there, and as an up-and-comer, and having the bowling center and the opportunity to just be there at all times and practice and throw games, and have his dad there for insight and equipment selection, and all invaluable tools.
Matt, JT, imagine these kids not knowing about particle technology.
They'll discover it at some point, I'm sure. But Anthony, the two-time Junior Gold champion, he also had another TV appearance at Junior Gold. Maybe the most memorable match ever in the history of that tournament. He bowled Solomon Salama for the U15 title, and that was Solomon's famous 299 performance. And Anthony was on the losing end of that, and then came back the next year and won the U20. Jumping over a division, was there U17 that year?
I want to say, I think U17 came out in 19, but I think 19 was the first year when we were in Detroit.
But anyway, Solomon also in the field. Matt, you do have him on your team.
I do have Solomon, yes, for sure.
And it's looking like an awfully good pick right about now.
Again, little too early for the bragging, and okay, but I'm very proud of my guys so far, and I might have chatted with at least both AJs and maybe Wesley earlier, and told him please don't let me down. And Matt Russo was in there as well. On the DL, of course. Just want to give those guys a little extra push and motivation.
Solomon led the Masters last year at the ripe old age of 16. I was a little surprised to see him not compete in the Masters this time around, being just about an 8-hour drive. But, things like school, stuff like that are sometimes fairly important.
Well, little known fact about Solomon is that right before that Masters situation, we had just come back from the World Juniors in Paris, so it was within days even, and obviously he bowled well. He bowled well in both continents, but at the airport at 5 a.m. coming back from Paris, we were just waiting, and all of a sudden we hear this Mozart type performance happening, and there just happened to be a piano on the concourse at the airport, and it was Solomon doing his thing. So multi-talented. The young man can win medals and then give a concert and then go lead the Masters all in the same week.
We did have a front eight that we were getting ready to turn to. Tim Foy Jr., who has done that a couple of times this week. I was watching it on our 39-42 channel as he left a 10-pin in the 9th, and I saw him looking around. So I don't know if Mike Flanagan was down there doing what Mike has been doing best this week. So Anthony adds another one there. But Tim had this look around. He looked a little to the right, a little to the left. Maybe a bit perplexed that Mr. Flanagan had not been there to bring down the rain. We do have a scoring update after Game 5. Leading on B squad and currently 5th overall, Michael Davidson plus 205. Anthony Nair, we're watching him right now at plus 202. Brent Boho plus 196. Chris Vi plus 188. Christian Azcona plus 157. Sean Lavery-Spar plus 147. Zach Tackett plus 115. Jesper Svensson plus 110. Those are all the players on B squad at the moment. 100 over or more. So Anthony's going to be getting to that 250 range. Take a look at live scoring, see how Michael Davidson is doing, see if we're going to have a potential lead change here. Chris Vi can only get to 238. How about this?
I don't even want to watch him bowl, man. I want to go to a concert and watch him play piano.
Oh, that was phenomenal.
There's a piano or two over at Roxy's at the El Dorado. There's one at the Regency right down the street in the lobby.
Let's go. Let's bring him out there. We can make some money.
Super talented and super smart, both of those guys, and keep an eye on them in the standings. I'm sure Anthony will remind me that I did not pick him, but maybe next time we go 8 or 9 people deep, and then we'll be all set. Too many good choices.
Too many good choices and a new leader, Matthew. Anthony Nyer, plus 257, moving into the top spot here on B Squad. Will it be enough to take down our overall leader, Jacob Buttriff? Plus 314. We got 2 games to go to find out.
I'll say, hopefully he was not watching when it's time for that interview about how today went. I could see some phone screening blowing me off.
Let's see here. Where else can we go? Looks like everybody's just about done here on the on our featured pairs, just in 10th frames right now. Perhaps a fill ball left to go. Looks like Sean Lavery Spar is going to get to plus 200 this game. Not all in this game. That would be a record or something. So in case you missed it earlier today, during A Squad, Jillian Martin, the young 16-year-old standout who had a phenomenal performance at the 2021 PWBA Kickoff Classic Series, making a pair of stepladder finals. She did something pretty cool. Let's take a look as we get ready for game number 7. There we go, folks. Nothing like a nice Big 4 conversion to get you going. So we wait for this next game to start. We'll toss a schedule up there for the rest of the week here on Bold TV, folks. Take a look at Sunday as well. Sunday. Around the FS1 broadcast, we will have a pregame and a postgame show available here on Bold TV as well. So be on the lookout for that. In addition to all of our coverage throughout the course of the week to get there. See, fresh off that big game, let's
Our players will begin the next game.
let's take a look at Tim Foy here, joined by Chris Vi. And Garrett Andrus. Garrett a little bit farther back here, minus 178. Tim with that big effort in Game 6 at plus 130, and Chris has been near the top of the standings. Plus 226. Once again, big thanks to everyone for watching Bowl TV this week. This is Game 7 of 8 for B Squad, Day 1 of qualifying at the 2021 U.S. Open from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. My name is Aaron Smith, and joined throughout the week, the Bowl TV team, if you will, Matt Cannizzaro, Jason Thomas, and Inside Bowling's Mike Flanagan. We've had a blast, and it's going to continue. We have our first giveaway of the day, and you know what, folks? Let's do this thing right now. We're starting Game 7. Seen some strikes out there. We just watched Jillian Martin's Big Four conversion once again. We got a little amped from the music. We're giving away teledrones. Just one of them today. So one lucky Bowl TV viewer, once again, just watching on bowltv.com, is going to take this home. So let's prepare and get this going in just a quick second or two. How about let's see who's going first here. Looks like Tim's going to go first after Chris Vai's first frame. It will be giveaway time. Remember, folks, you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen a message that says a giveaway will begin soon. Watch here to participate. It'll count down. Usually takes about 60 seconds. And then you'll see another thing pop up that says the giveaway has begun and a big submit entry button. Click on that submit entry button and you will be good to go. You'll be entered. If you're watching in full screen, we would suggest to take it back for just a second. You can see the chat. You should be in good shape. And Chris is ready to give the good people of Bowl TV the kickstart for the giveaway, delivering the strike.
Hey guys, Danielle McEwen's bowling in front of me right now, 45 and 46, and she's actually having a pretty good day, plus 85 going into Game 7 here. But we had mentioned that somebody had noticed that she was wearing a tennis shoe, a regular tennis shoe on her right foot.
Oh, that was me. That was me.
Yes, and I actually learned why, and it's not because she wants to be. She actually dropped some bowling balls on her foot.
Ooh.
And her foot had some swelling, and her bowling shoe was uncomfortable, so she has switched, to a tennis shoe. And that also could be, maybe the reason behind some of the struggles we saw from her in the Masters. But looks like her foot's doing better, and she's off to a good start here today, plus 85, as I mentioned, in a spare double here in game number 7.
Thanks for the update there, JT. It's something, certainly something we hope feels better for Danielle by the time we get to the Twin Cities Open in just a couple weeks. Right here on Bowl TV, of course. Aaron won the giveaway. Let's go, Aarons of the world, unite. Aaron Bargala, congratulations. Our marketing team will be reaching out to you shortly. to collect your prize. Excellent first name as well. JT, after watching quite a bit of bowling today and knowing what's coming up tomorrow for round 2 with that 40-foot flat condition, what's obviously the obviously the more you can get, the better here in this situation. But what's a number you think a lot of these folks who are near or closer to the top of the standings, maybe middle of the pack, what's a number you think they're pretty happy to get to?
I don't think they're thinking that way, honestly. I don't think they're thinking of getting to a number. I think they're thinking of getting as many as they can, but I don't think they have a number in mind. I could be wrong, but I think it's still the U.S. Open. So even though there are a lot of high scores, I see Brent Boho 198 over in front of me, Christian Azcona 195 over in front of me, Michael Davidson 210 over in front of me, Jesper Svensson 115 over. Even though those kinds of numbers are up there, it's more important not to shoot 100 under today. So if I had to put a number on it, I'd say 100 over would probably be a good number that you're thinking in your mind. But again, you get behind that a little bit and you start to press, and all of a sudden you can bring 150 under into play, and that would be disaster. I mean, I think you shoot 150 under today, you're out of the tournament, you're done. So it's more important not to shoot 150 under than it is to try to shoot 200 over, because a lot of things are going to equal out tomorrow.
The great equalizer. We should start having Nick naming his patterns.
The other thing too is really once you get to that fourth pattern, anything can happen at that point because there's still 32 games left. You can make up a lot of ground, and in the days when I bowled this event, the cashier's round was 64 players, whereas it's going to be 36. So if you get into the cashier's round, you can still win the tournament. There's still 32 games left, even if you're in 36th place. So you can very easily go from 36th into the top 24. And obviously, if you do that, you like the pattern, and that pattern's going to be out there the rest of the week. Then you start getting bonus pins, and you make a nice run in match play and win a bunch of matches. You can go up the leaderboard very quickly. The other thing, Aaron, that I mentioned a few names of players who were in front of me that have big blocks going. Those are all right-handers. There's a little bit of a buzz around the building that, the left side has it a little better today. But just in front of me, I've got 3 guys that are right around 200 over that are all right-handed. And none of their names are Jason Belmonte. Or Francois Lavoie. So it's definitely out there. It's definitely out there if you play them right and you bowl well.
It's basic strategy. Don't miss left, don't miss right, and make your spares.
If only that if we're that easy.
Right?
Yeah.
Someone alert Mike Flanagan. We have a front 8. Unfortunately, off camera at the moment. Nick Pate, who started this game at minus 16. Now 8 in a row. Sean Lavery Spar is cooking as well. He got to plus 205. He's still got 290 out there with the 9th and 10th frame to go on 73 and 74.
I'll tell you, Aaron, you mentioned Michael Davidson, and I've been watching him. This game is right in front of me, 45 and 46. He has got an impressive game. And Danielle McEwen putting together a big game here. She can shoot 269. 3 strikes in the 10th. That would get her to 154 over. Nick Pate, front 9.
Let's go.
I see the paparazzi. They're running across the concourse here.
And we do have a Game 6 update for everybody coming up as well. So Nick Pate doing some big things here. Front 9. Trying to make his move. Here, day 1 at the U.S. Open.
Jesper Svensson is about to take his urethane ball and throw it off the top of the National Bowling Stadium. He's gone double, ring 7, strike, blower 7-10, strike, ring 7, and then a 7-pin with a messenger in front of it this game.
Yikes. Well, tell him to do it after qualifying so he doesn't lose a ball on his ball chart. All right, folks, as expected, Anthony and I are leading the way right now on B squad, second overall through with A and B squad on the lanes at the moment. Plus 257. Once again, Jacob Buttriff leading the way, plus 314. Chris Vi second on this squad, plus 226. Michael Davidson, plus 210. Sean Lavery Spar, plus 205. Brent Boho, plus 198. Christian Ascona, plus 195. And then a bit of a drop on B squad. Down to Brian Robinson at plus 135, Tim Foy Jr. at plus 130, Zach Tackett plus 126, Carl Walgren plus 121. And as you mentioned, Jesper at plus 115. And then down to Danielle plus 85 and Spencer at plus 77. So for Spencer, he had a snag in game number 5, 147, because he was well north of plus 100 after the first 4.
He's righted the ship here in game number 7. He can shoot 224. Danielle McEwen finishes with 257, so that gets her to plus 142. Michael Davidson shoots 203, so that puts him at plus 213. Christian Ascona, 237 this game, so he's now at plus 232.
Brent Boho slowed down a little bit that game, 191. He's at plus 189. Nick Pate update, 279. Did not strike on his first shot, but now at plus 63. So
Mike Flanagan remains undefeated.
Never lost. And Belmo's starting to pick up some steam this block as well. Chance to get into the 240s. Just hanging around. Waiting for his opportunity for a big game. Just one game left to go here for our B squad competitors. Good note in the chat from Jeannie. The always fun 273. From Sean Lavery Spar, but he's going to be at plus 278 now. So he may be our new leader. Anthony Nyer, 192 that game, so he's at plus 249. So I don't think anybody else put together a big game was going to surpass that. Yeah, looks like Sean Lavery Spar leading the way here on B Squad with one left to go. Will it be enough? Can he catch Jacob Buttriff? Belmonte did finish that game out 247. He's now at plus 59. Four on the Greek Church to stay even and at plus 226 there for Chris Vi. 204 for Tim Foy. He's now at plus 134. And we're moving, folks. Moving on to game 8. Gonna go ahead and toss up the schedule there as we actually we still got a couple of shots on 57, 58. Let's we can still throw the schedule up there for a quick second, but we'll get some final shots. Take a quick look here at AJ Johnson as he wraps up. Francois Lavoie, 216. Nathan Bohr, 180. AJ looking to get to 205 this game. Should put him at plus 11. It's going to finish with 192.
Our players, Move to your game 8.
Move to -2. Let's follow those guys for game 8. Head over to 67-68 as we I'm going to throw the schedule up there one more time. Game 8, Francois Lavoie, AJ Johnson, and Nathan Bohr. Francois, 2-time U.S. Open champion, +70. AJ -2, Nathan +28. We'll get everybody's full score update as soon as the crew tabulates them from Game 7. A big shout out to all the folks on site at the NBS from our staff, USBC staff working the U.S. Open this week. I know we have some of the folks who help out at the Open and the Women's Championships spend some time at the 78 Lane Stadium as well. So big thanks to all the folks making it happen to help bring this event. Greg Moore, Rob Gottschall, Damon Sirocco, Brandy Silva, Caitlin Nelson. Plenty of other folks on site as well. Big thanks to all of them. And of course, big thanks to everybody here for joining us on Bold TV. We appreciate being able to bring this top-notch competition to you. It's great to be back at the Masters. Oh, Masters. That was last week. U.S. Open. There we go. Regardless, it's still great to be at both of them. You'd think I'd have the Masters out of my system already. It's been like 3 days since that event's happened. But it was great to be at the Masters as well. Jason Thomas, it's Tuesday of U.S. Open week, and I just called this event the Masters.
Oh,
What's wrong with me?
Well, that's okay. Towards the end of the Masters, you were calling that event the U.S. Open.
I'm falling apart. Stunned held. 621 Six Flags Drive.
Well, it looks like A.J. Johnson is running into the same issue that Chris Prather ran into in the opening block. He tried to get a little bit left with reactive, and they're a little cliffed because of all the urethane that's been going down the lane. And let's see if he can bail this one out.
Yeah, AJ -2 so far, so looking to find something late here.
Whew.
As wow,
that was interesting.
Bending it.
I'll tell you, I talked to Francois Lavoie during the practice session yesterday, and he was about to head out for the day after the third practice session, as most of the rest of the field did as well. But he hadn't had a chance to see the pattern, and as soon as it was released, I said, hey, did you get a chance to look at what you're bowling on day 4 on? And he said, no, I haven't. And I said, yeah, you might like it. It's you had a little bit of success back in 2016 on it. And his eyes got big. He said, well, that's good news. Of course, different building, the plaza at South Point versus the National Bowling Stadium, but there are a lot of similarities, especially since we're not using the low end here at the stadium. We're using the high end, which has a little bit less play on these lanes, and they have been leveled recently, and so a lot of similarities there. You're hard-pressed to find two flatter lane surfaces in bowling than the National Bowling Stadium and the plaza at South Point.
Agreed. Great venues, great friends of bowling as well. Many USBC Open and Women's Championships held at both venues, and will be a common stay on the schedule moving forward as well. Two very accessible cities once you get there as well. Reno, you can just stay at the row, and you're walking distance away from the NBS. And I don't think Matt Cannizzaro is ever going to leave South Point once he gets there this year for the Open Championships.
Thanks for the reminder, Aaron Smith. It's gonna be a wild and wacky and interesting 79 days of competition.
Open Championships starting up May 1st. This year, the Women's Championships coming to Reno April 23rd, opening day. So just a couple of weeks before the premier tournaments for USBC adult members get underway, the Open and the Women's Championships. Still time to get your teams signed up. We will have a score update after 7 in just a moment. And taking a look for B squad, as we mentioned, with the ever popular 273 in Game 7, Sean Lavery Spar moving to the top of the B squad standings, plus 278. He would need 237 this game to surpass it. Jacob Buttroff, who's in the clubhouse at plus 314. Anthony Nyer, plus 249. Christian Ascona, plus 232. Chris 5, plus 226. All these players on B squad. Michael Davidson, plus 213. Brent Boho, plus 189. Carl Walgren, plus 154. Danielle McEwen moving on up. 224, 238, 257 her last 3 games. She's now at plus 142. Brian Robinson, plus 137. Zach Tackett with a 300 at the PTQ, plus 136. Tim Foy Jr., plus 134. Jesper Svensson, plus 131. And then Spencer Robarge on B squad, plus 91. First player under plus 100. I did see someone ask about Jason Belmonte, our defending champion, where he's sitting. A little bit further down the standings, plus 59 for Belmo. Kind of an up and down day, 200, 197, 180, 222, 231, 182, 247. For the 6th-time PBA Player of the Year.
I'm really impressed with what Francois Lavoie is doing right here, guys. This is something you hardly ever see. What he's doing right here. First of all, he doesn't throw urethane all that much, but we've noticed that they've gotten cliffed. The players that are trying to move left because they're hooking a little bit more are really in trouble. They're trapped. And Francois is staying to the right and lofting urethane from out. And as soon as I say that, he 3, 6, 7, 10s. But what he's doing right now is a really cool trick.
I feel we saw Zeke Bate do that a little bit, create some push through the front that way.
It's just very unusual to see it being done with urethane.
I think I saw Wesley Lowe trying that a little bit as well, trying to still keep his angles a little tighter or in front of him, but not catch the early hook. But Francois, a master tactician.
He is. He's kind of like the Greg Maddux. He doesn't throw the fastest fastball, but he can place it with the best of them. And he's got all the tricks in the book.
JT, as I'm looking around on live scoring, a few of the folks near the top of the leaderboard, and Belmo's going to get to plus 100 here as well. He's going to be in the 250s this game. Some of the folks who are near the top are finding the struggle bus here on game 8. Taking a look at Sean Lavery Spar, who's leading with the 9th and 10th frame to go. He can only get to 212 this game. Anthony Nyer, max of 182. And then Christian Ascona, max of 173 with the 10th frame left to go.
Yeah, they're definitely seeing transition. When all that urethane goes down the lane, and we've seen a ton, and we've certainly seen more urethane here on B Squad than we did on A. You're going to have some carry down, and if you're not able to do what Francois is doing, and you're not happy with that. If you're not able to do what Francois is doing, then you have to play the lanes. Basically, what I mean by that is instead of lofting or going over the lanes, you have to play the oil, basically, which is the front is hooking now, and there's oil down lane, a lot of oil down lane because of the carry down, and so it just gets very tricky to go left to right. Nathan Bohr is kind of solving it by throwing it into the dry. He's throwing it into the dry and getting the ball to roll out. Also very, very impressive what he's able to do right now. See AJ switching back to the urethane, but a little bit too left to right. And so that ball catches the carry down, doesn't have a chance to make it around the corner. Then if he switches to reactive, the ball, when he gets it right too quick, the ball bounces too hard, and he goes high. Back to back through the nose on that right lane for Francois. So it looks like that lane's starting to hook on him a little bit. He's going to have to make another move. And that's what's tricky. If he moves left, then he's going to catch a ton of oil. And the ball, especially with urethane, it's going to have a hard time getting around the corner. There's not really much more he can do to get the ball to lay off.
Seems like a very quiet final game here. Other than Michael Tang and Jason Belmonte going 255 and 256 respectively. Nathan Bohr can still put together a couple strikes here. He's finishing strong. 254 for Brent Boho. He got to plus 243 today. Nice bowling from Brent. The folks with the big scores kind of slowed down at the end.
Yeah, Francois not happy. He had the front six. I mean, the players hate bowling a game like this. Players want to finish every game with the last 5 or 6 in a row because you figure you get to the pair, they're going to be a little different than the previous pair. You've got a few frames to figure it out, and then you want to figure out the pair and go off the sheet. And when you start with the front 6 and then you end up shooting 2-teen, players hate that more than any other thing that could happen. it'll be 221 for Francois Lavoie with one more strike, and he'll be plus 91.
Big swing game here for Nathan Bohr. Still gets a 258. Oh.
Wow. Would have made dinner taste very bad.
That's one way of putting it.
Man. It's a big difference there. I mean, you strike out there, you're 86 over, and you 710 there, and you're maybe 40 over. That's a big difference. And I know it took me about 10 minutes to answer your question about what the number they're thinking in their heads they want to get to today, but I really do feel like 100 over is where these guys feel like they're fine. They're in a good position. Obviously, you want to get as much as you can, but 100 over, you're still in striking distance of Jacob, especially if he has a rough day tomorrow.
Looks like, at least on our Bowl TV pairs, this is going to be it. Final few shots until we get ready for C Squad coming up tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 local time in Reno. C Squad will get ready for their 8-game block, the first of 3, 24 qualifying games for all these competitors, 108 of them. Making it to the main event of the U.S. Open. After 24 games, the top 36 will advance and bowl another 8 games in the Cassius round. And then from there, the top 24 advance to round-robin match play. That's going to do it here, folks. We are all said and done. So an interesting flow to the block. We saw the excitement early on and kind of slowed down a little bit toward the end, and potentially some unhappy bowlers in and around a camera. But as we head back to our respective studios here. There we go. There we all are. 2 squads in the books. We've seen some big scores. We've seen some frustration along the way. We've seen a few people who we thought might have some bigger days a little bit farther back, and we've had some new names emerge here on day 1 on the 36-foot pattern. It's through the 2 blocks that we've seen so far. JT, what's been the big impression on this pattern?
The big impression is there's some score out there. You can get it. There are some roadblocks out there too. We've seen some players really struggle. So it's still the U.S. Open, but normally you can't get 300 and some over, or 200 over, or 150 over, or say that, hey, if I shoot 100 over today, I'm going to be in good shape. Normally at the U.S. Open, even is good. Anything above that's gravy. So we're going to see some scores again tonight. I would imagine that the players are going to have even more information watching Bowl TV over the course of the day. We saw this squad get them a little better than A squad, and so with a fresh squad, I think there's a good chance C squad's going to hit them pretty good tonight. I also think that there's a good chance that Matt is not going to have to revise his story, that Jacob Buttriff is going to be our leader after day 1. But you never know. The other thing, I really enjoyed getting to watch Solomon Salama play the piano during this squad. Next, we're going to get to watch him go out and bowl, and he's one of Matt's picks, so look out for him.
All right, Matt, for you, I know you like short patterns. 36 feet. We've We've seen some strikes. I know you'd be having some fun out there. What are you looking forward to in this last block coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern? Oh,
Don't say it. Don't say it. I know it. Second time in one day. This is not my best pattern, apparently, even though Aaron said I like the short patterns. And anyway, I think it's very balanced out there. Just looking, the lefties are doing well, the righties are doing well. So, neither side running it over, which I think is great, right? It's fair. That's what you want. Folks are getting to the pocket and, getting a little bit of confidence heading into day 2 and the rest of the week. And that's the U.S. Open. That's what it's all about. The ups and downs, and you get what you can when you can. You take advantage of the pairs that you have the look and the patterns that suit your game. And I think for this one, playing a little bit straighter, playing out, it's beneficial, of course. If it's your wheelhouse, then get it. We saw that happen. Looking forward to tonight. Some great players you've already mentioned, seeing what they're capable of and see what they learn throughout the day, watching all the other bowlers. Can't wait. I think tomorrow, again, Aaron used the word struggle bus earlier. The anticipation of what that might bring. We'll have the strikes in the big games today, and then maybe not so much tomorrow. So, again, no matter what you like, you're going to see some of it here at the U.S. Open.
There we go, folks. That's going to wrap up B Squad here. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Once again, 9 p.m. Eastern. So that's about 90 minutes or so, give or take, a little more than 90 minutes. So everybody, take the opportunity. It's break time for a lot of folks. End of the day, not for us. So we're going to be back for you, so you guys can enjoy this great bowling coverage. Remember, $49.95 special annual offer available this week only. Here for Bowl TV. Pick up the program for an entire year. So get the rest of the U.S. Open and much, much more, including the PWBA Tour coming back April 22nd. But for Mike Flanagan, Jason Thomas, Matt Cannizzaro, I'm Aaron Smith. We're signing off from the U.S. Open at the NBS, the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. Everybody have a great break, and we will see you soon. And remember, folks, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here.